Hey there. Have you ever been talking to somebody about your faith and they say something like, well, I believe in science and evolution, and so I definitely don't believe in God. And maybe your first response is to want to get into a debate about evolution versus creation. Or maybe you might get scared because you think to yourself, well, man, I really don't know a lot about science, and I really don't know a lot about evolution. No worries. Today I'm going to show you that all you need is roughly a third grade science education to show someone that whether or not they believe in evolution or creation, that really at the beginning there needed to be an infinite God who created everything. And we're going to be talking about today what's called the cosmological argument. And it goes like this. 1, we know that things exist. And 2, everything that now exists and that we know exists, including the universe, had a beginning. And 3, that everything that has a beginning has a cause. In fact, most scientists, and I would say 99% of scientists, whether they are Christian or non-Christian, believe this, that things exist, that everything that we know exists has a beginning, and if it has a beginning, it has to have a cause. Now, in nature, we see a series of beginnings, of course, right? So we look at a tree. Well, a tree comes from a seed. But then where does the seed come from? It comes from trees, which comes from seeds, which comes from trees, and so on and so forth. But no series like that can go on forever. Each series has to have a beginning and an end. There had to be a first tree or a first seed, right? And eventually that series will have an end. Which means that everything, including the universe, right? If there always has to be a beginning to a series, everything in the universe, including itself, had what we would say is a first cause. Meaning that something that ultimately doesn't have a first cause, or something that wasn't created, had to be the thing that created everything. Now, according to science, they would say that it's something called the cosmic vacuum. This swirling vacuum, almost sort of like what we know about black holes, existed, and then just matter started coming out of that. They don't really know how, they just are sort of guessing. But for Christians, we would say that first cause is God. And we believe that God is the more likely option because the universe has so much order. It is made in such a way to create life and also to sustain life, right? And so much like we would see a carpenter who creates a table, the table has order, the table has purpose, right? And in the same way, everything that's created that we see, especially that humans create, we can see that they have order and purpose. And you can see that in nature, that even nature has order and purpose. And so in this way, it is more logical to conclude that God is the first cause and that He has always existed and was not created versus the cosmic vacuum. And so this is what is called the cosmological argument.